Mm.
while I was leaving the assembly hall, the amphitheater, a teacher approached me and she said, Eris, you're a new admission, right? I'm like, yes, I am. And then she told me that you should be a part of NCC. And I'm like, ma'am, I'm not aware about it. And she said, I feel like you're fit for it. So that was where it began. So I first gave my audition for RDC around the month of October, previous year, October. No, it was, yeah, I think it was previous year, October, yeah.
2024.
Yes, ma'am, 2024 October. So
Mm.
I gave my first auditions there. I wasn't sure because I think there are four or three provisions under RDC from which you can participate. There's Best Cadet, there's Cultural, and then there's Flag Area. So
Mm.
I applied for Best Cadet. I gave the written exam, and well, I'm not very academically inclined, so I could pass that. But then I went for the cultural selection, and thanks to my guitar, I passed the auditions, the first round, then the second round, then the third round. There were a total of, I think, 4 or 5 rounds of audition, and the amount of people who came in kept decreasing each time. So I thought it was going to be me the next time, maybe it's going to be the next time. But then eventually, after all the auditions came through, I went for the first camp. I finally got the roll call sheet for my auditions, and then I saw my name there, so I was quite happy. So the first camp came. It was a 14-day camp in Safdarjung. I think it's the C Group headquarters. So we were there. The first camp, 14 days, totally amazing. It was a new experience for me because I hadn't been in, such a regimented lifestyle. Waking up at 5 in the morning, doing PE and, running around the whole field, it was a new experience. So that was there. Then after each camp, what I got to know is that there's going to be eliminations. So from each camp, so after the first camp, there's a total of 128. There was a total of 128 allocations. The amount of seats that can go for RDC from one directly. That was our directed Delhi. So
Mm.
in order to fulfill that, they had to shortlist a lot of kids. So it was quite tough competition, and I always had a fear in my mind that, oh, I've come so far. What if they kick me out the next camp? But
Mm.
then camps went by. The third one was in Rohini, and the main headquarters that is in Rohini, we were there. And when I reached that stage of the RDC preparations, I just knew that it's either all in or all out because either it's going to be me participating in RDC or me not being there at all. So that camp was significant and it was very fun because I think that was the time when we got the most off from our activities. So it was very
Mm.
fun. And then the last camp, we were all together, and it was the last minute, and it was quite unexpected to see just about one or two of the cadets getting shortlisted at the end moment. So I felt quite bad for them. But that is how competitive RDC is, and it
Yeah.
takes a lot of, I'd say, not just skill, but I think it's on your personality, it's on your skills, it's on a lot of, I mean, I'd credit a lot to my luck as well. So it's all there. Those are all factors. And a very interesting thing that happened to me during my RDC was that I got bit by a snake while
Oh.
we were practicing. Right, yes, ma'am. So that happened, and I was rushed to the hospital, and I don't know how many injections they put in me, but after 2 3 days, I got back to camp, and it was a slow and steady recovery, but I made it. So that was that. Then there was a final month of RDC. It was January when we had finally made it into Delhi camp, and we were finally in the official grounds for the public day camp. So it was just the most amazing feeling ever. And as I mentioned in my introduction, that I was a part of the cultural team.
Mm.
So there were three events from the cultural team. Those were composite dance, group dance, and group song. So I was a part of all three of them. And very fortunately, I got to be a host for the group dance as well. So
Oh.
it was a wonderful experience all in all. The first 3 days of the camp were our initial days where we had to perform because as soon as the camp started, the cultural events were lined up. So the 2nd of Jan, the 3rd of Jan, and 4th of Jan, there were composite dance, group dance, and so it was quite hectic, but it was worth the wait because we had practiced so much for it. So it was very awesome.
Now, personally, it just, whenever I think about that time, it sends shivers throughout my body because I was just so excited and so, thankful to be there on the stage. Because, there was so much rush behind the backstage because we had to settle the props ourselves.
Mm.
We were given 3 minutes to settle the props and then perform and then take out the props within the given time. So it was hectic, but it was, all worth it because all our preparation, all our hard work, it all came down to 5 minutes on the stage. So that was there. And very fortunate for us, after all the events and all the dances were done, ours was selected for a performance in front of the Chief Minister of Delhi. So Delhi directed the composite dance. It was presented in front of the Chief Minister, and very funny incident from that time. One of our props, just like 2 days before the performance, it broke down. So we had just 2 days to recover it, and it was a lot of hassle. It was very hectic, but we made it in time, and we performed in front of Miss Atishi.
Yes, sir.
So after our performances were done, it was just, I think it was 25 days of just being there, helping out with the other cadets. And I think that is where the real RDC, took part. It's just awaiting something in us, because after our events were done, like while our events were happening, the cadets from the Kartavya Path and those who were for the other events, like the flag area, all of us, we were unified, and they helped us move all our stuff. And when it was our turn to help them out, we did not leave anything behind. Like we just put ourselves all in and we helped them out. And that is where the main purpose of RDC comes in, because it's not all about, being a solo person, just working by yourself. It's all about being a team, and as a directorate, how we moved forward. So that was there. And for Kartavya Path, when it was finally 26th of January, the main show, we were at Kartavya Path, and after all the parades were done, there was a special highlight from, I think, Indonesia or Thailand. The military forces from there had come. And then at the end, our NCC cadets, the ones we had been working with for so long, the Kartavya Path cadets finally came, and it was such a moment of joy. So that, that summed up the entire hard work and all the sweats that we had been given up. So yeah, it was also worth it at that.